Namaste, beautiful souls. Welcome and thank you for watching. I'm Gabrielle, retired medium in Germany, and I like to share some of my otherworldly insights and experiences. So this is about soul specification. Which one are you? The most simple and practical, in my eyes, is the soul specification via eye color that is coming from the Tibetan knowledge and via Madame Blavatsky, a well-known occultist and member of the Theosophical Society. So our eye color is made up by melanin, which is, if it's dark, the absorption of light, and if it's a light or a bright eye color, it's the reflection of light. So, coming to brown eyes, whoever of you has brown eyes, this is 79% of the people. Brown-eyed people are earth anchors. They come in to stabilize humanity and earth. They are energetic transformators. They work very often in caring professions like nurses or therapists, doctors, and so on. They are very much about karmic transformation. But as they pick up a lot of energy from also their surrounding and people surrounding them, they quite often feel drained. So they need to learn how to cleanse their field, their auric field, of all that they picked up. They need to learn how to protect their field and to let go, to be just a channel, like a canal where the energy is flowing through, but not getting attached to it and kind of keeping it and identifying with it. So to them, important is learning breathing methods to kind of let go of the energy and breathe it into the earth. Because as they are karmic transformators, they give back the transformed energy after they processed it from whatever they picked up, from their surroundings or the people around them. So now coming to blue eyes. These are 8% of the people who have blue eyes, me as well. These people are known to have etheric vision. They are very often psychic. They are spiritual antennas. They have visions, spiritual perception of energy, presences, beings, and they have access to higher planes of consciousness. They are cosmic light bearers. They come to awaken humanity, and they very often work in science fields, philosophy, and healing. So, by the way, when I was younger, I had much brighter, lighter blue eyes, and the older I get, the darker blue my eyes change into. And as the eyes are said to be the window to the soul, I really like the soul specification via the eye color. So, coming to the next, these are the green eyes. They are the rarest. Only 2% of the people have green eyes. They are known to be karmic and spiritual catalysts. They are agents of cosmic renewal. And they very often, unconsciously, force transformation in their surroundings and others around them. They are doing transformation work. Another criteria, maybe also for if you ask yourself whether you have been abducted or not, and you don't know because usually the mind gets wiped, there are some more criteria to find out. A rare blood type, like blood type 0, or all the rhesus negative, Rh negative blood people. These are only 15% of the people on Earth. And it's said to be that Rh negative contains kind of ET blood. So if you have a rare blood type, negative and positive ETs might be interested in you. By the way, we already are all hybrids because all the cedar races came in through the ages and tinkered with our DNA like the Anunnaki, or they kind of gave their DNA to let humanity develop. That's why we have so many different forms of hominids in our family tree, and some just vanished, as the Earth is called the Great Experiment Earth. Well, some vanished more or less. We don't have Denisovans today. We are more or less now all with a percentage of Neanderthal and some others forming the Homo sapiens. A second criteria for possible abduction can be your genetics, the DNA of your family lineage. By the way, I have a negative blood type and a rare blood type, and my family lineage and DNA might be interesting because I'm, so to speak, half noble. My mother was from a family of nobles that could follow their family tree up to the 1200s, and she married a commoner, so I'm half noble still, but that doesn't mean a lot to me. Another very interesting criteria might be the day of your birth and the year of your birth. If you use a numerology or Gematria, the Jewish science of numbers, the day can tell you a lot. And if you take the last 2 digits of your birth year and add them together, Gematria functions like that. You have to add the numbers together, and if it comes out a number that is with 2 digits, you have to add the 2 again to reduce it to a number that is beneath 10. So the numbers are 0 to 9, and they have characters or more or less energy and entities, same as the planets. So I was born on day 9. That is very interesting. The 9 is the number of completion, like kind of closing a circle, the first circle of the numbers 0 to 9, because 10 is already the second kind of line of numbers, and it's put together from 1 and 0, already existing numbers in the first line of the first 9, or including 0, the first 10 numbers. And if I use Gematria on the last 2 digits of my birth year, well, I come to 11, and 1 and 1, 11 is 2, so there you have it. 2 is the female energy, and that's where I resonate a lot with the divine feminine. Another criteria is in palmistry. If you have a crescent moon in your hand, in both hands, That means in palmistry, you have intuition, emotional sensitivity, a strong connection to subconscious, spiritual growth, and leadership. And if you have the letter M in your hand, that means in palmistry special intuition, insight, potential leadership. Well, in my simpler words, it can mean anything from misery to mystic up to mastery. And if you have them in both hands, well, then it's kind of double the power. By the way, I never looked too much into palmistry, but just recently I had to. My guides made me look into that. And guess what? I have the crescent moon and I have an M in both hands. So, talking about psychic abilities, which ETs, benevolent and malevolent, might be interested in invitations to a spaceship or negative abductions. Psychic abilities are perceiving the paranormal or having ESP, extrasensory perception. Means someone is able to perceive information or influence and events beyond the five senses. So the perceptual abilities are clairvoyance, which is the ability to perceive objects or events beyond the range of normal vision, such as seeing the future or perceiving hidden objects. The next one is clairaudience, which is the ability to hear sounds or words not audible to others, often described as hearing voices or messages from the spirit world. The next one is claircognizance, which is the ability to know something without any logical explanation or sensory input, often described as a feeling or intuitive knowing. The next one is clairalience or alliance. I'm not sure about the pronunciation, sorry for that. It's got to do with smell, and it is the ability to smell scents that are not physically present. The next one is clairgustance, has to do with taste. It is the ability to taste flavors that are not physically present. And then comes mediumship, the ability to communicate with spirits of the deceased. Remote viewing is the ability to perceive information about a distant location or object, even in time and space. Then comes retrocognition, which is the ability to perceive past events. And then precognition, the ability to perceive future events. So the influencing abilities are telekinesis or psychokinesis, which is the ability to move or influence objects with the mind. Next is telepathy, the ability to communicate thoughts directly with another person. And last, teleportation, which is the ability to transport oneself from one place to another instantly. There are some more and other abilities which I will list Also, there is astral projection, which is the ability to project one's consciousness outside of the body. Then there is automatic writing, the ability to write without consciously controlling the hand. Then there is channeling, the ability to allow a spirit or entity to communicate through oneself. There is also dowsing, which is the ability to locate underground water or minerals using a divining rod. Then there is prophecy, the ability to foretell future events. Divination, the practice of seeking knowledge of the future or unknown by supernatural means. Then there is energy healing, which is the ability to heal through the manipulation of energy fields. And psychometry, the ability to gain information about an object or a person by touching it. So, about the abductions, well, a classic sign might be one of the three traumatic states, like fight, flight, or freeze, the three Fs. Well, I told you in my last video that I spent a great deal of my youth in freeze. So, I thought it was only because my brother died when I was 12, but now I'm not so sure any longer because all the symptoms I showed were kind of too much for just coping with the death of a brother. Usually, trauma states are re-experiencing the traumatic event by flashbacks, nightmares. Then, of course, most people avoid these trauma reminders. Like my father, he could never watch a Western movie because of the gunshots. They reminded him of his traumatic war experiences in the Second World War. So he got nearly crazy when we sat in the living room and watched on our first TV set the first movies that were at the time in the 50s and 60s, more or less right after the war. And there were Western movies. And he got crazy after 5 or 10 minutes. He rushed into the living room, screaming at us, switch off that stuff that's no good, that's just shit and stuff like that. And he was so angry. So he was right back into his war trauma via the sound. It might also include as a symptom negative changes of thoughts and moods. Either a feeling on edge and overly aroused if you are in the fight mode or the flight mode, but more numb if you're in the freeze mode. This is what the babies of the deers are doing when they are kind of hidden in a cornfield and the farmer starts with his machines. They just stick there and don't move because usually against their natural enemies that helps. Because most predator and animals, they use their eyesight or the smell. So if there is no motion, the babies of the deer can come through without being found by a predator animal. Some of the body symptoms Corresponding with traumatic states are headaches, digestive issues, sleep disturbance. I have that, very often insomnia, can't sleep through. I wake up in the middle of the night and it takes 2 hours, sometimes 3, which really drives me crazy, but I don't want to take any medication for that. I'm working on how to heal or deal with that in a natural way. Can also be emotional numbness. That's a body symptom as well of the traumatic state of freeze. Can also be difficulty in concentrating and social withdrawal. So signs of traumatic responses can probably be abduction symptoms. Either you remember an abduction or not, because the minds are wiped usually. And in my case, my experiences with my sky family was different because I was probably abducted by negative races because I had all the criteria they are interested in. I was psychic as a kid. I had an invisible friend and stuff like that. And, well, later on, after my mediumship trainment, when like showing up in order, first communication with the deceased, then with Fae and Fairy, the elemental kingdom, then angels, and at last came the ETs. But that was very different because the Pleiadian Tibetans invited me to come out of body with them to their ship. So they respected my free will. I could have said no, but as I felt attracted and felt nothing negative and already knew a little bit about Pleiadians and Tibetans and knew that kind of is where I come from, and in the longer line from the star system Lyra, the vegan star system, where there is also an asteroid belt like in our solar system. And asteroid belts mostly are exploded planets. So that's the proof for the reptilian attack in the star system Vega. There is an asteroid belt, an exploded planet, my former home planet. That's why I'm kind of deep down a bit sad and missing home, because my home is exploded, is no longer. So, of course I said yes, because it felt positive. But you shouldn't delve too much into was I abducted or not, because sometimes it is better not to know, because if you open a can of worms right now or a can of hidden trauma, you might have to face, deal, and heal that. And not everybody is ready yet for that. So if these memories do not come to you kind of natural, do not come naturally back to you, I would not dig for it. In my case, I just suddenly the dots connected, everything fell in place when this spiritual healer found an alien negative implant in me. And it still took me years to connect the dots. Oh, where did that come from? And via my mediumship trainment and all the experiences I had, I can deal with that now. But I would not have been able to deal with it when I was 20 something or 30. So this is what I wanted to share with you today. Via the eye color, you can get a better idea about your soul mission, whether you have brown eyes, blue eyes, or green eyes. Okay, here we go. Thank you very much for watching. Blessings, love, and light, as always, to you, beautiful souls on your soul path. Bye.